We have traveled a long way from our home in Bristol, Connecticut, 2 time zones, and over 2,500 miles later, we are here for tonight's national championship game at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale. First take here in downtown Phoenix at the Deuce. It's such a cool spot here, and we have such an awesome crowd. We're really feeling the love, and we appreciate it. All of you being here with us. First take fam in the house. We've got a lot of different teams covered here today. Thank you, guys. We appreciate that love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know if we have any Steelers fans here in the house, but that game we are going to get into right now. The Steelers handed the Bengals their 8th straight playoff loss. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, they really hurt themselves. A Jeremy Hill fumble, Vontaze Burfict, Pac-Man Jones, both with costly personal fouls that contributed to that 2-point loss. Stephen A., how much of this one, all the undisciplined leading to those personal fouls, do you put the blame on Marvin Lewis?
I'll preface my comments by saying that I've been on the record on many occasions suggesting that it's time for Marvin Lewis to go. And you're listening right now to an individual that has been on the record on many occasions lamenting the paucity of African-American coaches. And I still said that Marvin Lewis needed to go. What transpired Saturday night was disgraceful. It was embarrassing. And there is no place for that in football. Now, Pac-Man Jones was on the Dan Patrick radio show this morning and saying that he believes that Antonio Brown should receive a Grammy for that acting performance because he still doesn't believe he was hurt.
He said he flopped.
Yep. etc. Well, I don't know what's wrong with his eyes. I don't know if he needs to go to see an ophthalmologist or something like that. I saw Antonio Brown going across the middle. I'm not saying that Burfict went in full force because he clearly did not. He did ease up. But nevertheless, he lowered. The ball was thrown high. He went low. And you could see Antonio Brown's head snap. That, regardless of Burfict trying to ease up or not, it was clearly unnecessary. It was preventable, and the reality is that I thought he should have been ejected immediately. That's what I thought. So that's point number one. What Adam Pac-Man Jones needs to also understand is that Burfict doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt because he was out of control all game long.
He was.
Not to mention how he had conducted himself throughout the season, and in particular against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you have a reputation and a history coming into the game, and then on several occasions, Marvin Lewis and others tried to talk to him, and clearly he couldn't heed any warnings. Why is for him to answer. Then you have Adam Pac-Man Jones. I believe he does have a point when he says that he was going up to confront Joey Porter, who didn't have any business on the field as an assistant coach. The head coaches, along with the medical staff, were the ones that were supposed to be out on the field. Joey Porter was not. So when Adam Pac-Man Jones says, I was confronting Joey Porter and I accidentally touched the ref, I totally believe Adam Jones on that point. But the reality is, again, you don't deserve the benefit of a doubt as a team because of your undisciplined tendencies, which ultimately showed itself in full view to a nationally televised audience on Saturday night. It was disgraceful. And more importantly, it came across as Marvin Lewis being devoid of the necessary control you're supposed to have over your team as a head coach. You showed that you didn't have that. Now, there is no doubt, according to the reports, that Marvin Lewis is going to stay in his job as head coach. I am here to say that should not be the case. If there was ever a nail in the proverbial coffin that should have taken place, it was Saturday night with the Cincinnati Bengals. As far as I'm concerned, Marvin Lewis should be going today. Somebody like Hugh Jackson should be the head coach, and they should move forward. I am not questioning the competency of Marvin Lewis. I know he knows football. I know he can coach. But there's two things that are glaring to me. A, It is now 12 full seasons you have been the head coach of Cincinnati without one single playoff victory. Not one. You have been to the playoffs 7 times. You are 0-7. It is the worst record for a head coach in postseason record for a head coach in history. That's number 2. And then number 3, if you can't exercise control, what good are you? Because those players, if for no other reason, then you're the head coach. You're the one they're supposed to respect. And dare we say, there were rumblings coming into this game that if Marvin Lewis and the Cincinnati Bengals lost this game, it could potentially be the end. You know this, and you're completely oblivious to it, and you just ignore his authority and act, I'm going to say it, act like a bunch of hooligans. That's what they did. It was embarrassing. It was disgraceful. And as far as I'm concerned, heads should roll because of it. There's no place for any of that. There's no place. I understand how violent football is. But in my mind, in my estimation, that's what makes it even more inexcusable. Because during the game, you literally have a right to assault someone and get away with it. And you still come across as somebody that can't contain yourself? Even when you have the right to do it, you still went beyond? There's no excuse for it. It's time for heads to roll. It's not going to, but it's time for it to roll.
I applaud everything you just said. Ultimately, Marvin Lewis has to be held accountable and responsible for what we witnessed, that disgrace that was Saturday night's game. And I also want to compliment you. Your pick was righter than my pick was. I went with the upset pick because I said ultimately it would be AJ to win the game. And it looked like it was. It looked like A.J. McCarron had come alive in the fourth quarter and hit A.J. Green, the great A.J. Green, who made a great catch on the play and a move to get in the end zone, and it looked like they were going to win the game. They did not deserve, ultimately, to win that game. They lost it because they were more interested as a team in beefing and fighting than in playing winning football and making winning football plays. The head coach has to be held responsible. Now, I'm going to defend Marvin on one count. There's some Buffalo syndrome operating here. And by that I mean, remember when Buffalo went to 4 Super Bowls? Was it 4 straight?
Yep.
Yeah, 4 straight Super Bowls, lost all 4. Well, Marvin Lewis keeps making the playoffs, which is no small feat in the National Football League. So he keeps getting there and failing. Well, there's something to be accounted for in his ability to coach a team through the regular season. Now, you've held Andy Dalton accountable. You got to go win a game when it counts. Marvin Lewis, 0-7 in the playoffs. You have to go win a game. But it's no small thing for him to keep coaching teams that go whatever they are, 12-4, 10-6, or whatever, to get to a place where they have a home playoff game. That's hard. Those things don't grow on trees. So we got to give him some credit for being a very good football coach who can get a team into position to have a playoff game. No small deal, okay? But to your point, when you fail all 7 times, and then the 7th time is a disgrace, then you need to be gone. Unfortunately, do you deserve another chance? Yes, you do. And I would hope he would get another chance. But here's my problem with Marvin Lewis. He made his reputation as the defensive coordinator of a Ravens team that had maybe the greatest defense I've ever watched back in 2001, the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis and company. So Ray was the driving force of the defense, as we all know, and you call him the greatest leader in the history of sports, right? Okay, but Marvin was coaching a team that was full of edge, but kept it in bounds, didn't ever go over the edge. In Cincinnati, he keeps reaching for players who have a lot of edge to them. Fontez Burfict, who came with all kinds of red flags out of college. Pac-Man Jones, who had reputation flags all over the place in Tennessee and in Dallas and on and on. And Pecco, how about Pecco? Remember the early penalty? Pecco's over there wearing his cape, and all of a sudden he runs on the field and shoves a Steeler. He's not even in the game, and shoves a Steeler and gets a 15-yard penalty. that's somewhat on the head coach because you've worked them into a frenzy before the game. You're encouraging their edge, and it's about to go over the edge and bite you. And it bit him right in the behind, and it should cost him his job.
It should cost him his job. But let me touch on a number of points that you brought up. A, I don't believe that Pac-Man Jones deserves to be excoriated because, again, I do believe he was going after Joey Porter.
Okay, but real quick. Remember, that's a reputation flag.
I agree.
The ref is looking at Pac-Man Jones, and he's thinking, Tennessee, Dallas, the Atlanta incidents that he was involved in. And he's thinking, it's Pac-Man. He touched me. It's a flag. And Pac-Man was in bounds with what he was saying because he's saying, the assistant coach, Joey Porter, used to be a player, is out here talking trash to us.
But what I'm saying to you is this. In a vacuum, looking at Saturday night's game, Pac-Man Jones didn't deserve what he got.
I'm with you.
Burfict, however, was out of control all game long. And the brother can play. He's a big-time player, but no discipline whatsoever. He is literally a guy you have to look at and say, what's the matter with you? Why in God's name can't you control yourself?
Remember what you said about Greg Hardy? You said he looks unstable.
That's right.
Looks unstable to me.
You know what? And that's point number 2. Point number 3. Let me be very, very clear. I keep saying this, and I'm going to say it again. I am a fair-minded individual. On this show, I am here to announce to America, you will not hear me calling for anybody to be fired again until Marvin Lewis is gone, because I can't make a case. I mean, I'm looking at Tom Coughlin is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, okay? But he's gone, okay? He's gone. You know, you look at a guy like Jason Garrett, puppet master himself, puppeteer rather, okay? This dude, he keeps his job.
He's just a puppet, period. Puppet.
He keeps his job. You know, when you look around the league and you see whether guys are going, the wrong guys are being gone, the wrong guys are staying. When you look at what Marvin Lewis is doing, I can't sit here and make a justification for people to be gone and other people to be given a chance when Marvin Lewis gets to keep his job with 7 years in the playoffs, not winning a game, and your very last appearance to show such a flagrant absence of control and authority. The players were ignoring this man. You cannot be a leader of men and nobody listens to you. That cannot happen. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Okay. I'm with you. And I appreciate the courage you have to take that stand. That's a tough one. Now, back to Pac-Man. Adam Jones. And he's been a model citizen the last couple of years, and we don't hear much about him until these big stage games. He has a valid point because, remember, Joey Porter, ex-player who talked a lot of trash as a player, was always playing on the edge himself, ran onto the field. I thought that by the letter of the law, when there's a badly injured player, that it opens the gate for even an assistant coach to run on the field to check. Well, it can. They can waive it. The refs can sort of look the other way at it. And in that circumstance, because it looked like Antonio was down for the count, looked like he might be seriously hurt, maybe still is, God bless him, but in the end, they let Joey Porter do it. But now the NFL today is saying he might, or there's indications he might be fined. Well, now you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, because if he is fined, that means Adam Jones had a case that he shouldn't have been penalized for that, unless you're telling me he just bumped the ref, even though he was just trying to get at Joey Porter and accidentally jostled the ref a little bit. But the point is, that was the flag that lost the game. That set up the chip shot field goal. Without that flag, we might be having a different conversation right now. So Adam has some point there, but then he disqualifies himself when he says that Antonio flopped, because I don't think anybody with half a brain and one eye would think that he flopped.
That's right. And also, let's not negate the ignorance on the part of the Cincinnati Bengals as well. When Burfict intercepted Landry Jones and they thought the game was over, they had the game in the bag with a minute and change left, and they all ran into the tunnel. You understand? Let's not forget that level of ignorance. Once again, another show of lacking discipline. The clock wasn't zero. This is what the problem is with the Cincinnati Bengals. You don't have leadership, you got to change it.
And that will cost Marvin Lewis his job, not the loss, that lack of discipline that you alluded to. will go to Mile High, and of course a lot of question marks in that one. Big Ben with the injury, Antonio Brown concussion protocol, and they're already down D'Angelo Williams. Up next, it's what Clemson and Bama fans have been waiting for, and of course it's why we're all here. The national championship game in Phoenix. We're here at the Deuce. Up next, Stephen A. and Skip will make their picks. Can't wait.